I always tell students now to do it. Go
Take
see the world.
advantage.
St. Maarten, we always come back home because we think St. Maarten is our world, but St. Maarten is really just a little dot.
Hello, my people, and welcome again to another episode of Sit, Sip, and Chat. My name is Glenna York of GCY Initiative, and Sit, Sip, and Chat is where we go out and we talk to different persons within the community that are making a positive impact. And today we have with us Miss Amaris Richardson of the St. Maarten, I have to make sure I say it good, who's the manager of the St. Maarten National Heritage Foundation and Museum. What I was going to say is simply the St. Maarten Museum, but that wouldn't be saying it right. So I had to make sure I get it correct. So before we go into the interview, two things we gotta happen. First of all, I'm gonna give you some information on Miss Amaris. Amaris was born, raised, and is deeply rooted on the island of St. Maarten, and she considers herself the epitome of a true and proud St. Maartener / Antillian. A former student of the Milton Peters College, Amaris furthered her studies in the Netherlands, where she studied and gained a background in architecture and civil engineering. The love for her island, the Caribbean, and its diaspora is the driving force for her service and purpose. And part of that purpose is promoting, embracing, and enhancing the awareness of culture, history, heritage, healing, and traditions of St. Maarten, and also building and enhancing connections within the Dutch Caribbean, the Caribbean, and its diaspora. That sounds pretty?
Sounds pretty much.
Pretty okay. All right, and before we go further, we're gonna talk about where we are and what we are drinking. As you can see, the background changed up a little bit. I actually got permission from Amaris to tape within the St. Maarten National Heritage and Foundation Museum. So just taking all the things that are happening in the background of me. If you haven't been here, you're lapsing, you need to be here. For those of you that don't know, the museum is located on Front Street number 7. It's close by, what is that place called? It's close by the Coffee Lounge or
Spachens Alley.
Spachens Alley.
Yes, opposite the former
Guavaberry Emporium.
Yes.
So opposite the former Guavaberry Emporium, close to the Coffee Lounge. Inside of that alley right there, there's a big bright sign on the roadside, and there's a sign also when you're coming down the alley to visit the museum. They are open from Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And what we're drinking, we are drinking Tropsicle Boozy Pouch, that is today in a bottle. Thank you for Tropsicle. Tropsicle Pops and Boozy Pouches are now available. You can place your order on any of the social media pages at Tropsicle on Instagram and Tropsicle Pops on Facebook, or by messaging +1 721 587 8382. They have limited flavors that will be available for the time being, so make sure you contact them today so that you can have a sip with us while we're chatting. Good?
Good.
You ready?
I'll try.
Okay. That's all I ask.
Good.
Is that you try.
Yeah,
So for persons that don't know you or may have seen you in the community but don't exactly know what you're about, who is Amaris?
Amaris, I am me. I believe I tend to wear a few different hats, but currently I'm wearing the hat of the manager here at the St. Maarten Museum, for short. How did I get here? I worked for government for quite some time. And in my work in government, for some strange reason, I did building permits. And that's my last post. That was my last post within government. A lot of the monuments would fall on my desk. And seeing what was happening with our monuments on the island, I became part of the board. And from the board, I became part of the management team.
Interesting.
So, yes.
Okay, so then we are here now with the museum, but prior to that, finished MPC, you decided to go away to Holland to study?
I did, but then I went to Curacao. And
You went
in Curacao, I did.
Okay, so you went to Curacao
architecture and
first
civil
or
engineering.
Holland first?
Holland first and then Curacao.
Okay, so then how did you decide what to study, and then how did that go from Holland to Curacao?
When I went to Holland and then I came back. And I was working in government
Okay.
at the time. And architecture just piqued my interest. And before that, it never came to me as a study.
Yeah.
You know, but I always used to love to draw. And I always loved to draw old buildings. So it's fascinating.
Interesting.
It's really fascinating. And I have a story to tell about even an old building. One of my favorite drawings was actually an old building in Barbados.
Okay.
And I just found out that that building that I drew 25, almost too long ago, which I won't even talk about, but so long ago, is actually the Barbados Museum.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I just found that out recently.
So then how did you see it in a picture and decided to
saw
draw it? And
So we got it as an assignment in school, in high school in Havel. And I just always used to love to draw old buildings, especially old buildings. And I just recently went to a conference in the Netherlands and saw the building, and someone was giving a presentation about the Barbados Museum. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite drawing ever. That's one of my favorite drawings. So that was like, that showed how everything just
just fell into place in the circle.
So yes, in that circle. So
yeah, oh, nice.
And mostly really because of our monuments, and
that's how you ended up in Curacao, was through architecture?
Yes.
Okay. So then how was because one of the things that I personally think it's important to encourage people to leave home, even if it's for a short period of time, so you get that experience outside of your comfort zone. Definitely. So that you can better have a world's view. So when you decided to go to college and you were in Holland and Curacao, but Curacao you would have been more of an adult at that time. So let's talk about Holland. When you were in Holland, how was that college experience, and how was the transition from St. Maarten to Holland?
It was, I wouldn't say it was difficult. I would not say it was difficult. It was just never me.
Okay.
I am really a Caribbean person. I'm a real Caribbean girl. So when winter hits and summertime, you're all happy and nice, but that winter was just a different story for me, and it just was never my thing, But one thing I do regret is always coming back home. I used to visit. I used to go to the States a lot. I would travel to different Caribbean islands, but I didn't travel a lot within Europe.
So you didn't get the full European experience.
And that's something I tell all the students now, go out there, travel the world, because I love to travel, but I didn't take the opportunity, the advantage of traveling within that area.
I completely understand. I feel the same way when I was in the States.
So much cheaper, to travel from there compared to traveling from here now to go. So that's one thing. That was one of my biggest regrets, and I always tell students now to do it. Go
take
see
advantage.
the world. St. Maarten, we always come back home because we think St. Maarten is our world, but St. Maarten is really just a little dot
on a map.
On a map.
Listen,
so
if you're a student, take advantage. If you're a parent, encourage your students to just take a little trip here and there, of course.
Be safe.
But take a little trip here and there.
Yes.
We're going to take a trip. We're going to have a little quick commercial break. You go get your sip, check out Tropsicle, see what they're about, see what the drinks and pops that they have. We'll be right back.
New episodes premiere every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. on TV 15 and across our social media platforms.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là?
But sorry, no sir. They got this game tonight and I can't miss it. Me and my boy, we gotta watch the game, So I bringing this in. You check? Alright, let me watch your leg go.
Sir, sorry. Why so difficult? Look, I'm watching TV here on my phone with the TTV Plus app. You really gotta upgrade.
Okay, so Miss, tell me about the TTV Plus. I gotta hear about this.
Okay. So once you apply for TEL TV Plus,
Okay.
you can enjoy it anytime on the go.
Anytime.
Anytime.
On the go?
On the go. You simply download the app, log into your account at any time, sit back and enjoy. You will never have to miss your match.
Yo, bus driver, take me back to tell him now, please.
And we're back, my people. I'm still sitting down here with Amaris. Amaris, you're surviving?
I am.
Ain't too bad, right?
Yeah, I'm trying.
She had a sip. She did it off camera. She had a sip. The sip is helping. Thank you, Tropsicle. So we're going to talk about the museum. So then you were working for government with the building permits, seeing all of these monuments being brought at your desk. So you became involved, became part of the board, and then as manager. So how was the, not how was the process, but how was the experience as a board member and then as the manager? And then for persons that don't know exactly, have an idea of a museum, but the St. Maarten Museum is special to us. Tell us about the St. Maarten Museum itself.
Okay, the St. Maarten Museum, it's been in existence for about 30-something years now, almost, yeah, 30 plus years. Mrs. Elshapos, she was the former director. And then, so it's been in existence for quite some while, quite some time. Small,
Yes.
but quaint, you know, it's homey. It has that homey feel. But we want to grow. You know, we want to tell more of our St. Maarten story. So we want to bring more of what's out there in here so that we can share with everybody. And that's really the goal. That's where we really want to go. So unfortunately, we're in a very small space.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, you know, to bring in more, to create bigger exhibits. And of course, we're a nonprofit organization. So finances is always, you know,
Tricky.
a thing. So where staff is concerned, we're limited. Where size is concerned, we're limited. Exhibits, limited. So we have our limitations, but we're trying, we're pushing, we're fighting, and we hope really to break those barriers and exceed.
So what kind of exhibits, for those people that are lapsing out there on St. Maarten, that don't know that we have a museum, first of all, yes, people, obviously we have a St. Maarten museum, but that don't know what's in here, what type of exhibits can they expect to see? What type of things that they can expect to see?
So we have what we have here. So we have, I love to talk about this picture, for example. And, oh, sorry, they won't be able to see, but this picture is a picture of St. Maarten, but you can tell me what other islands do you see there?
Anguilla and St. Bart's.
Exactly.
I was reading.
So now basically you can see that, of course, we all know these islands are 3 separate islands. But what you see here is that thousands and thousands of years ago, we were actually one island.
Okay.
And what would be interesting also ties into what Museum An Naturalis has. So I don't know if you know Mark Yokohayama and Jen. What they depict also is our animals and our
Yes, I
nature.
remember that, yes.
And what's very unique is that there was an animal called the skink. And what's unique about this animal is that it was unique to St. Maarten, but also unique to Anguilla, because back then
It was one big landmass.
landmass. So of course now you can't see that, but now you know that explains why our islands are so close. Then you would move over into what I love to call the indigenous period, and that speaks about our indigenous times. But this is going to change soon. We have it downstairs, so we're working on expanding this exhibit to talk more about the true story behind our indigenous people.
Okay, so we've gotten more information. It's just not out.
more. It's just not in
Okay.
up and running. It's actually downstairs, so we do have a secondary room downstairs.
Okay.
And we're working together with CIMARC to expand this exhibit. So it will go more in depth into the Tainos
nice.
and the Kalinagos and the different relationships between the islands in the Caribbean, you know, the different tribes that, you know, thrived throughout the Caribbean. So the exhibit, the name is Caribbean Ties. So this is an exhibit that we will be hoping to showcase soon upstairs.
Later this year?
I really hope so.
Really?
Yes. So we
Okay.
started. The gentleman, he's working. He was supposed to be working today, but yes. So that's one exhibit, and then we move over into our South industry. Also another exhibit that we're going to upgrade soon, and then you go over into the slavery period, our slavery past, of course, and. Of course, that's the most difficult, but that's our slavery past. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we want to depict soon that, okay, yes, we were once slaves, but we were also kings and queens, pharaohs, emperors.
That is not the
empresses.
extent of our past.
Before that, that's
Yes.
not the extent of our past.
I got you.
It goes beyond that. So that's what we hope to be depicting soon. We do have different exhibits that we share with different museums, and so as I mentioned, space is a problem. So we're trying to create space to be able to show more. And then after that, I think we would go into the period of emancipation, our plantations, and then into what we call our grandparents, our grandmother days.
Yeah.
Talking about the washboard and the ice cream maker by hand, the coal pot, the
got sewing machines, we
sewing
have the
machines.
cloths, the plates,
Yes.
the old-time bottle glasses.
Exactly.
It's
So
really cool to see.
yes, so it's a collection of everything, everything St. Martin. And then if you go to the back, you see about our sea life. You know, we even have about Lewis, so we have to also create an exhibit about Ema, of course, and our forts. And then,
Okay.
of course, music.
It's a lot.
It is.
There's so much to
It's a
see.
lot. It is. It is.
Okay.
Definitely.
And this is the thing is that I think when you come up, because it's a small space, people think that there's not going to be a lot to see. And then I think just based off of that explanation, and then with the hopeful expansion that is coming,
Hopefully.
hopeful expansion that is coming, we speak it out, maybe bring it into
Definitely
existence.
putting it out there.
And then people can really understand that we have a rich culture and you can learn about it. You just have to know where to go, come and visit them. Front Street number 7, there across from where the Guavaberry Emporium was. You come and visit Amaris and her team, and they give you all the stories. Ask for Jean-Marc if you really want an in-depth
Exactly.
explanation of the history. He will give you all the details that he has.
Well, he's here, so catch him while you can.
Yeah, catch him while he's
Catch him while he's here.
Oh,
Definitely.
Okay, so then with that, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Hope get her to take another sip. She's going to feel more relaxed. We're going to have more conversations and have a good old time. We'll be right back.
Yo! Be the first.
And we're back. We still have a little bit more conversation to have with Amaris. She survived. She's smiling, so that means she good. We ain't got to worry. She good. She was hesitant, but she good. So, to get into it. So, I told Amaris like since May. I think before that, but I think since May I told her, listen, I want to have a sit down with you. We're going to talk about the museum. She thought I was, she didn't take me on. But what got me connected with Amaris was in May. I think it was literally just after Carnival finished.
Literally.
Literally. They had the Dutch Caribbean Heritage Platform. My explanation of that is basically the different islands within the Dutch Caribbean got together to discuss similarities and differences within the different islands as far as their heritage and culture is concerned.
Yes.
That's basically more or
Well,
less.
somewhat. So the Dutch Caribbean Heritage Platform has existed for about 10 years.
Okay.
So it's basically cultural heritage organizations on the 6 islands come together and they're part of this platform from all 6 islands. So all 6 islands of the former Netherlands Antilles. And so every 2 years there's a conference, except during COVID. So it's been on Curacao, Aruba, and Bonaire. So that's the first one I attended, the last one I was there.
Okay.
And so now it was the turn for it to be here on the SSS Islands. So that's how we ended up coming to St. Maarten. And then we were like, oh, since we're here, why don't we join in with Sabre and Stacia one time? So that's how that trip came about. Yes.
And that was, I'll say this as a first time attending and just finding out about this, all of this. It was very inspiring. It was very fun. I've never been to Sabre or Stacia, sad to say. I take the boat over. I'm not a fan of boats, but it didn't suck.
Okay, good.
We were well taken care of on all the islands, and just overall, I think it was a really cool experience.
Wonderful.
So I'm happy that you invited me and that I decided to take part.
Great. I'm so glad to hear
Okay.
it.
So then I don't want to say in comparison because we're all different islands, but then having seen what the other islands are doing as far as cultural heritage stuff, what do you then hope to see on St. Maarten as far as the museum and what we have the potential to do here?
Okay. So the whole team behind the conference this year was awareness.
Okay.
And the whole concept this year was, instead of being just in conference setting, that you just have presentations and you just amongst each other, is to go out there and be amongst the community. So that's why this year we chose this format. So it was more outside than inside, more outdoors than indoors. And we chose to invite the students. So we invited the schools to come and join us. Not all schools made it, but some did. And that was about coming together. So you're not just inside the museum, but this is a step to go outside, you know?
Yeah.
Go,
And really discover and
really
see.
discover and see, and for the different islands to also see, so we can learn about each other. So the theme was awareness. So a lot of persons also from the, like you said, from the ABC Islands now. We always go to the ABC Islands, but this was the opportunity for them to come here and see how we operate, because the dynamics there
It's different.
completely different than the SSS Islands. So that was quite important, and that I got a lot of good feedback about that, you know, seeing the differences and also the similarities.
Yes.
Of course, we do have similarities because we do have this shared heritage. So that was very important, networking. But I think Sabre and Stacia, we all have our challenges.
Yes.
Let's call them beautiful challenges. We all have our beautiful challenges. But hoping that St. Maarten that we would come together. So that's one thing we started. So that's the St. Maarten Heritage Platform, that we would come together and strive together towards our goals in preserving and raising the awareness of our culture, our heritage, and especially on St. Maarten. You know, a lot has been lost in the process.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that there's, you know,
It has to continue to
it
be
has
lost.
to continue. And there's so much that we can bring back. There's so much that we can restore. You know, so let's hit it now.
Yeah.
While we can, while we still
Nice. I heard you mentioned a platform. I'll get to the platform just now. But I heard something about a new building or like what you could tell me about that?
Okay, so that's what we're hoping for. So actually what happened was the St. Maarten Museum, CMARC, which is the Archaeological Foundation,
Okay, yes.
together with Jay and Paul Ellinger and their foundation, and the library.
Okay.
We were supposed to create a new heritage center
Okay.
where the library is located. Those plans, unfortunately, didn't
Come to
come
pass.
to fruition. So the library is continuing with their renovation, reconstruction. So now CMARC and museum, which both are renting small spaces, cramped, and need space. So we are hoping to continue. And what we would love to continue with is also seeing our national archives being established. St. Maarten doesn't have our own national archives because we were part of the former Netherlands entities.
Okay.
And because of that, the national archives were on Curaçao. And so now Curaçao has the National Archives of Curaçao.
Okay.
But of course, because we were part of the Antilles,
You have our own as well?
of all the other islands as
Okay.
well. So basically, Aruba has their own national archives, and we're busy learning a lot with them, especially when it concerns digitization. They have a whole platform. It's called Collection Aruba. So they have their collections online now, also Seba, Stacia, and also St. Maarten.
Okay.
So we're also working towards that and building our digital collection because it's so important that you can still have access, even if it's not, that you can go to it, but that it's there that you can have access to it. So that's something we're working on. But so the National Archives is so important. So we're hoping to have that also established here on St. Maarten, and I know
Okay.
Seba, Stacia, and Bonnier
Okay.
are also working towards
So the
that.
goals that we have right now for the museum is an expansion.
An expansion, I won't say expansion exactly, but a new building
That works.
together with
The archaeological
Yes, that's
foundation
the archaeological foundation. And
and
a to be established National Archives.
a national archives.
So we're hoping
these
to
are the
have
goals.
this.
We're
Yes.
speaking it into
We
existence.
are definitely speaking it into existence.
Okay, so you guys, you have to speak it into existence with us so that
In
we
a
can get this.
central location where it's beautiful, and we also hope to establish. So our whole idea was to have this in a beautiful space, in a beautiful setting with a park area, so people can come. All
And
ages. It's open to the community.
just enjoy
From
it.
the community setting that we can go and grow. So this is really what we hope for. So we want to bring back that village. That
Awesome.
village mentality. That
Yes.
it takes a village. So that's exactly
What
what
we're
we want
trying to
bring
do.
back. Yes.
Guys, she told us all the things. She told us all the things, but there's only so much that we can fit in for right now. If you want more information about the St. Maarten Heritage Foundation and Museum, Front Street number 7,
Definitely.
Coffee Lounge, Guavaberry Emporium. There's an alley, walk down the alley. You can find them right here. There's Amaris and her team. Just ask them a question. If you want to donate and help them with that, ask them a question. Ask for Shannon or John Mark if she's not here. Guys, definitely check out the museum. Let's support this nonprofit that's giving us information about us and preserving our heritage and our culture. And also visit Tropsicle because they got some good drinks and they gave me one and I like it. And I think you should experience this as well. All right? So until the next time, guys, thank you.
Also, our local gift shop. So that's something I must say.
Oh, yes.
We do. We have our local gift shop, so we have a lot of items from our local entrepreneurs. So Ruby Butte, Cocoa Moons, everything local we try, and also a great book selection for children, every age. So really come out and support that as well.
And she said it. And with that, we'll see you at the next one.